Hello people of the internet, welcome back. So in this video I'm going to be talking about my RogerOn microphone that I received for free through Disabled Students Allowance in the UK. First of all, I'll just tell you my overall opinion, so if you don't want to watch the whole video you don't have to. I think it's a good product. If you have the opportunity to get one, I think that would be a good idea. I like it. Yep. That's my overall opinion. What it is a radio aid, and it uses the Phonak Roger radio aid system, but it can work with, it doesn't have to be Phonak branded hearing aids or cochlear implants. It can be any brand of hearing aids or cochlear implants. So I have the Cochlear Nucleus 7 processor cochlear implant, and I also have a Danalogic hearing aid in my other ear. And in order to connect it, it uses receivers that go either on your hearing aid or cochlear implant, or if you have a newer Phonak hearing aid, they can be programmed directly into your hearing aid. I will show you what the receivers look like. So for on my cochlear implant, it is this middle section of my implant here, and for my hearing aid, let me show you. It is this part here. It'll be whistling. It's whistling. It's that bit there that can plug. You can take it out, and it's got like a little 3 pins, and then it plugs into this direct audio input boot that goes on my hearing aid. And so you have to replace the battery door of your hearing aid with one of these. So to do that for my hearing aid, I had to take out this pin and put this bit on and line it up and put the pin back through. It was very fiddly and difficult, but it can be done. It's not that difficult, and I'm sure if you were struggling to do it, your audiologist could help you. So the RogerOn microphone, sorry, my hearing aids are switching back on. So the RogerOn microphone, the way you can use it is you switch it on with this little switch on the side, and then it's too bright to see the screen. It connects to the your hearing aid and cochlear implant, or hearing aids or 2 cochlear implants, whatever you have. Each one might use a different receiver, so some you might have to use a thing that goes around your neck instead of things that plug in, or you might just be able to program them straight into your hearing aids so you don't have to use anything else. It has 3 main modes. It has presenter mode, which is what happens when it's held upright, and that can be put on a speaker. So for example, if you're in school or university, you could put this on the teacher or lecturer, and you can either clip it onto their clothes with this little clip on the back, or you can use this neck loop thing. So the way you use it is it clips, using the clip onto the plastic bit on the neck loop, and then it goes around the neck of the person speaking, and you can adjust the length of it to get the best sound. So that's one way of using it. I found that works really well. I very much like it. It also has a pointing mode, which is my favourite. I really like it. You can use this to point at individual people. So, for example, I used it the other day. I was on the beach and it was really, really windy, and anyone with hearing aids or cochlear implant knows when it's really windy, it's really hard to hear because you can just hear like with all the wind. But this, with the pointing mode, I found that really helpful, so I could just point it at who was talking, and it would really help cut out the wind noise. It obviously wasn't perfect, like I could still really hear the wind, but it was much clearer than what it would have been not using it. And it's really helpful, for example, if you're at a party or you're going around, because yes, you could put the neck loop thing on whoever you're speaking to at that moment, but I personally have found that a lot of people get a bit funny, like when you put like your hearing things on them. Like if you put your microphones and stuff on them, I think it makes people a bit nervous because they're scared they're going to break it or something. They're like, oh, it's too much responsibility for me to hold this item. So you can just point it at them, and then it makes it easier if you're switching between two people. I find the pointing mode really helpful. I'm doing it to myself now. I love that. You can also use the pointing mode. It comes with a case, the RogerOn, so you can place your RogerOn into this little case, and then you can put it like, it's got like a little slot in the bottom, and you put the edge of the case like that, and then you can, it's difficult I don't have a plan. You can balance it like this, and then you can have it pointing to someone while resting on a table. So if you're at a table and there's one other person at the table, you can just put it like that and have it permanently pointing at them, so you don't have to hold it. It also has a table mode, so when it is held flat on a table, it will pick up the voices of the people around the table. You can also use a button on it. That main button in the middle, it will lock it on a specific mode. So you can have it automatic, so if you're holding it upright, it goes into presenter mode. If you're holding it diagonal, it goes to pointing mode, and if you hold it flat, it goes to table mode. Or you can press this button and it will lock it on a specific mode. You can also use it for streaming. You can plug this cable, which has a USB-C on one end and an audio jack aux cable on the other end, and you just plug it in there and then plug that into your computer, and that will stream sound directly from my laptop or TV or anything straight to both my hearing aid and my cochlear implant. You can also use it for TV streaming, where you'd place your Roger microphone into this docking station, and then it has two cables on it. One plugs into either the optical like fibre optic cable of your TV and USB on your TV, or if your TV doesn't have a fibre optic cable, you can just use a normal aux cable and that will do the same thing. And then you can listen to the TV directly through your hearing aids and cochlear implant, which I find to be really helpful. And the range on this thing is pretty spectacular. The other day, actually yesterday, it was yesterday evening, I had been watching TV downstairs in my house, and I'd been using the TV docking port thing. I'd had that on and I had my Roger microphone in there, and then I turned the TV off, went upstairs, had a shower, and obviously had taken my cochlear implant hearing aid off. And then after I got out the shower and like dried my hair, I put my cochlear implant processor back on, and I was still upstairs. And my parents had come home and put the TV on with my Roger microphone still on it. And I was getting the sound from the TV from downstairs, like through the floor, into my, and it was like it's on the other side of the house. It's across the house, and like they were downstairs and I'm upstairs. And I was hearing the TV through my cochlear implant. So the range on this thing is quite spectacular. I think that it's a very good product. It's really, really good with the TV streaming. And I can watch the TV when it's on mute and I can hear it. So no one else can hear the TV. I'm the only person that hears it, which is really nice for everyone else because they don't have to hear what random stupid stuff I'm watching on TV, and I don't have to have the TV up really loud to be able to hear it, which is really helpful. So, my next section of this video is comparing it to the Cochlear mini microphone, which is what I got with my cochlear implant. But some people might be thinking, like, why would you get one of these over using a Cochlear mini microphone and then you don't need the receiver and it doesn't have the pointing mode, but you can do all of the other stuff with it? There is a reason. So for the Cochlear mini microphone, it's very good. I find that the Cochlear mini microphone works really well when it's like on one person for a kind of shortish distance. So it helps me hear one specific person when there's background noise, and from a bit further away than I could hear without it. This only streams to my cochlear implant. I think with the specific model of hearing aid I have, you can get it programmed to go to both. Yeah, and it also, this mini microphone also supposedly has a table mode. It does have a microphone on it, which is supposed to be a directional microphone for you to put it on the table and be able to hear people around the table. I don't find that very helpful. I don't think it provides really any benefit over just using my cochlear implant on its own. So for me, I don't really think that it is particularly helpful with that. And I've spoken to another person that says they don't find it particularly helpful when it's just on the table. I don't know if anyone else uses one of these. It's the Cochlear mini microphone, and it's the same thing as the Resound multi-mic. So if you use either one of those, let me know if you find it helpful when it's just on a table. You can also stream audio using an aux cable or a hearing aid direct input lead directly from a computer using a headphone socket. That works really well. This also has a feature that the RogerOn doesn't have, which allows you to connect to a telecoil. My cochlear implant processor has a telecoil in it anyway, but this you can use to connect to a telecoil as well. This doesn't have a telecoil in it. So I would say that that's one of the downsides of this. If I were designing this, I would have wanted to put a telecoil in it. And yeah, so I would overall choose my RogerOn over this, but the Cochlear mini microphone does have some benefits compared to the RogerOn. I prefer the RogerOn for the range and for the pointing mode and for the table mode. The RogerOn also has an app that you can use, which allows you to select the directions for the table mode and also to change the settings from a distance. So for example, if you put it on someone and you want it in presenter mode but it's got it a bit wrong or something, you can then change it to presenter mode from your app, and you can also pick the directions for the table mode. So if you have it on a table but there's like 2 people on the table that way and nobody that way, you can make it so it's only picking up sound from that side, which is something that you can't do with the mini mic. Yeah, so those are the main things. Oh yeah, you can use this for the TV as well, just with an aux cord. I forgot to say, you can use that with the TV, the mini mic. And the disadvantages of the RogerOn, which are, you know, things that I would have designed a bit differently. Number 1, as I've already mentioned, telecoil. Number 2, it comes with this case that allows you to use it in the pointing mode in the table, which is really good. However, if you're using this case, you then can't put it in the docking station while it's in the case. So you have to take it out of the case, which isn't that difficult to do, although I'm making it look difficult now. You have to take it out the case to put it in the docking station and then put it back into the case afterwards. You also can't use the clip that you'd use to clip it onto someone's clothes or clip it onto the neck loop thing. You have to take it out the case to do that. I just think that that's a bit of a silly design. I would have, if I'd done this, made the case so it could still fit in the docking station and you could use the clip through it. Because theoretically, with this clip, you could put a setting on the clip so the clip could stick out, like instead of just going out that much, it could come out more, and then you could use that to angle it. In my opinion, just make the whole thing more durable so it doesn't need a case, and then make the clip a bit more like able to come out so you can use that to prop it up. That's kind of how I would have designed it. I don't really understand what the thought behind that was. And also the connection button is on the back, so when you need to connect it to your receivers for the first time, you need to press a button on the back, so you can't do that when it's in the case. I just think the case design is really bizarre. Also, another disadvantage is you need the extra receivers unless you have Phonak hearing aids, so you either need to wear a loop around your neck or put these extra receivers on, which does make your hearing aid or processors a bit bigger and bulkier, which some people might not like. I don't find it uncomfortable or anything. I mean, it's behind your ear, so it's out the way anyway. I don't find it a big deal, but if you're very self-conscious about people seeing your hearing aids or cochlear implant processors, you might not want to make them any bigger. Yes. Also, another disadvantage is on the Cochlear mini microphone. It's got the separate charging port and aux cord port, so you can charge it while you're using it, plugged into your computer. So I guess if you had a battery pack, you could use it while it was on someone. You can use it while it's charging. The RogerOn, it's only got one port, so you can't charge it and use it at the same time unless it's in the TV docking station. But you can only use that when it's plugged into something. You couldn't have it on a person. I guess you could if you had like a battery pack. It's more difficult to use it while you're charging it. If you wanted it plugged into your computer or pointing mode, you'd need like another. It was more difficult. I'm just telling you, it's more difficult than using the mini mic plugged in. I think that's everything. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you soon. Bye.